At this point, this vehicle was completely secret. Going about my kind of daily business to create videos involves a lot of challenges, and some of them are some pretty difficult travel arrangements and movements to go from one place to another in, well, seemingly next to no time to ultimately create videos just about every day. And one of the biggest missions I think I ever had was to literally go from a trip that I was doing in the French Alps, driving in a Porsche Panamera 4S, four-wheel drive with winter tyres, wearing my ski jackets and winter clothing, snow on the ground, overnight basically, with next to no notice, to Johannesburg, South Africa, for a safari. Literally from snow to safari. Now, I was driving around with the Porsche, creating content, taking the car. I'd borrowed it from a company called Race Chip, who install a box that gives the car a little bit more power, so I picked it up in Stuttgart, taken the car, at this stage, intending to go to the French Alps for a week in the Alps, to make some content, to drive the car around in the snow, to have a winter trip with it. Now, that was all going well. Snow had fallen, perfect opportunity to take the car out and experience what it was capable of. To give you an idea of when this was, it was the brand new Panamera, it had just been released, the new infotainment, so I was enjoying demonstrating and showing how all of this worked, and personally quite intrigued by what the car was capable of, the four-wheel drive system, immensely capable in the types of conditions I was driving it in. So it was all going very well. I was actually there at the time with my family as well, so a bit of mixing, creating some videos with some personal time too, when I basically got a phone call saying, would I like, in 2 days' time, to have come to South Africa for, they couldn't tell me in full detail, but what we now know as the Mercedes Maybach G650 Landaulet. Now, this is a pretty special vehicle. I think we can call it vehicle. It's not really a car, it's a pretty large thing. There are only 99 of them, costs about $1 million, and, well, here was an opportunity to go to South Africa, to go on a safari where I would literally be standing in the back of one of these things, filming lions and elephants and everything that was around. So I found myself in the French Alps with winter clothing, with a car that I needed to return to Germany in about 2 or 3 days' time, with a need to fly myself to South Africa, leaving my skis somewhere, and get some clothes that were appropriate for where I was going, because I don't think a ski jacket would have worked with the temperatures I was going to experience, and somehow get all of this booked, planned, arranged, and come together with 2 days to do it all, and work out how not to upset my family in the process by departing what our pre-committed plans were. So, to the drawing board. How do I get a flight? How do I make all of this work? How do I get the car home? First thing, car. That was a responsibility. Arrange somebody to come and pick it up. Fine. Arrange them to meet me at the airport at the time I fly out. Where am I going to fly from? How can I do this? Right, a flight from Lyon in France to London. Get somebody to meet me in London with some clothes. Quick turnaround at Heathrow Airport. Continue flight, connecting, give them my ski stuff and all of the things I don't need. Get the flight to South Africa. And then when I get there, it was just the most incredible press launch. This was the Mercedes press launch for the new car. They'd recently launched the Mercedes Maybach brand, and the G650 Landaulet I think really was the epitome of this, incorporating the luxury materials and technology that you find in the S-Class Maybach, with this car based on the previous generation G-Class, but in this case kind of an extended 4x4 squared, so significantly raised up, but with the Landaulet style. They've only made a few Landaulets in their history, but with the convertible soft top folding back. Now, the beauty of how this went was literally arrived after the flight in Johannesburg, had to catch a short internal flight up to the safari park where this was all happening. And I should also add at this point, I'm absolutely shattered because I've been skiing a bit in the Alps, which is exhausting. I've been staying up at night to make these plans work. So I get to the safari park almost immediately, major body dealing with temperature change and all of that side of things and the stress of the last couple of hours. Get there, drop all my stuff off, and straight out we go. And obviously the camera's coming out and we go off and we head off for the safari. And I've always kind of dreamt of going on a safari in South Africa. I never thought it would come in that circumstance and situation. But we head off and there am I, standing in the back of this thing, literally standing in the brand new Mercedes Maybach Landaulet, filming lions, elephants, you name it, the wildlife of the safari park, which was something I'd always looked forward to doing, but that's not necessarily the way you think you're ever going to be doing it. One of the other slightly amusing elements of this is it was being done under embargo. At this point, this vehicle was completely secret. It wasn't ready to be announced, Mercedes hadn't posted anything, so I have to do all of this without really telling anybody where I'm going and why I've got to sort it all out. It's one of the almost side things that I have to handle traveling so much to different events, is that many times I'm not actually allowed to say what it's for, why I'm going there, what I'm going to be filming. And then obviously there is also a video that doesn't follow immediately, so it doesn't quite add up. It confuses people. And again, I'm trying to also upload other videos, so I had to, and I don't think I said this, and I had to shoot extra videos with the Panamera in France to fill the gaps while I wasn't there, and everybody needed to kind of keep it secret what was going on. So this whole logistical operation involved a lot of people, my team communicating with Mercedes, getting the right flights, getting the transporter, getting everything at the different ends, luggage in London, all sorted out all at once, while simultaneously shooting other videos, preparing to be in South Africa, and somehow pulling it all together. And it turned out to be, well, basically the trip of my lifetime. Now, the funny thing about all of this is the car itself. Think about it, the Mercedes Maybach G650 Landaulet. What sense and in what world does this car make sense? And I'm referring it to a car, but I think this is in the loosest of possible descriptions, because yes, this was a fantastic demonstration. Being the raised up 4x4 squared portal axle style vehicle meant that it could just barrage through the terrain that we were driving in the safari park as they would normally do with their proper off-roaders. Yet it had the kind of ironic interior of an S-Class. You had the padded cushions on the seats. You also had in the cooler, they had a bottle of champagne for us, not to be drunk while driving, of course, but they did have it ready with the champagne flutes. And you have this slightly mixed perception of what this thing actually was for. It's the most fantastic thing. I love that it exists. And I love that with the G-Class, Mercedes AMG, altogether through the different products created, or various different cars, you had the 6x6, and the 6x6 has made a true statement, just as a, hey, look at this, a gigantic pickup wearing the three-pointed star from Germany. But again, what does it really solve? It's a hugely heavy vehicle, almost I think 8,000 pounds or so. So actually in Europe it counts as a truck, not as a car. You need a different license to technically actually drive the thing. I can't remember the exact weight of the Maybach, I think just underneath. But I can picture extremely unique circumstances how the car has a purpose. Outside of that, I suspect it's more just a thing for show and a thing for display. But in any case, it's amazing that the team at Mercedes G in Graz in Austria said, yeah, we're going to make this thing, we're going to put it on the market, and we're going to launch it with this massive event at a safari park near Johannesburg. One of the quite fun things about this was that a few weeks later, I would see the very pair of these cars on display at the Geneva Motor Show. And this is one of the things I love about not just the logistics I have to deal with, but the logistics of the automotive world. That the same cars I've been filming with on a safari in South Africa are there for the world to see at the Geneva Motor Show in Switzerland. And how they managed to move them, of course they've got all the pictures and marketing material at that point can be released, the video content can all be released, all the social media things can be shared, but somehow this all just kind of happens behind the scene. And it's amazing actually to see what the manufacturers do to get all of their marketing materials and everything with a new product, and fascinating actually to see a little bit more of that, especially when it's all secret and behind the scenes. So as fascinating as it was for me to have to travel so spontaneously, this is actually how it works for many people almost every day working in this industry, to move around the world and to make everything happen. People do actually often ask me what are my favourite things that I've ever been fortunate enough to do through my channel, through my love of cars, and every time this story will always come out right up there at the very top. I've had some amazing experiences driving a CLK GTR around Bahrain International Circuit, chasing a Porsche 911 GT1, that stands out right up at the very top. But this trip, I think with the spontaneity of it, the arrangements that had to be made, the almost ludicrous nature of what was actually happening. You don't do a safari in anything other than something of, I guess, more reasonable value, we could say, than a €1 million or dollar special limited edition product. That's not exactly in the norm. So the fact that this all somehow actually happened has put it up there as one of the memories that I am never ever going to forget.
This month's car stories are sponsored by The Ridge. The Ridge makes a line of wallets and bags that are designed to be minimalist and help us just take with us the things we actually need. So check out the link in the description below for a discount and buy one for yourself, or they make great Christmas presents. And be sure to let them know how thankful you are for their support of VINwiki.